Okay, it's time for another blind taste test beer review. I've got 4 different IPAs from the Space Coast, and we're going to see which one tastes the best, at least in my opinion. Now, what I have is Hurricane Reef IPA. Hurricane Reef comes from Carib Brewing Company, which is located in Cape Canaveral or Cocoa Beach. I'm not sure which. Let's see what it says here on the bottom. This one is available in restaurants and in stores. Of course, you can see I bought a bottle of it. I bought this in a liquor store. I bought it in Total Wine. It's Cape Canaveral. And it's got an ABV of 6.5%. Okay, Hurricane Reef. Next we have Pleasure Chest from Playalinda Brewing, and this is in either Cape Canaveral or Titusville. It's available in stores and it's available in restaurants. Okay, it's Titusville. Pleasure Chest. Now let's see what we got here. Okay, we'll put that one here. The next one, oh, did I say what ABV this is? Let's see here. It's 6.6 ABV. Now, Dragon Point is available at all the restaurants, bars around Melbourne, and Palm Bay, and in Cocoa. There, it's available in many, but it's not available in stores. So I had to go to the brewery to get this, and they only sell it, unless you buy it in glass drink there, they only sell it in this crowler. So, Dragon Point, which I've reviewed before against High Lie, and Dragon Point was citrusy, very citrusy tasting. And which I liked it at first, but after a while, the citrusy kind of gets old, and after the first few sips, I had enough of it. It's maintaining a good head, and it looks a little hazier than the others. So hopefully, I might have to do this blind so I don't recognize it. I don't want to have any kind of bias when I do this. Next, we have this is Causeway IPA. 7.5% ABV, and it's from Hell and Blazes Brewing in Melbourne. And as far as I know, I've only seen this at the brewery and haven't seen it at any bars. And it's probably not available in the stores either. I haven't seen it in any stores. So let's pour a glass of this. And I'm going to taste these all. I'm going to do it with my eyes closed because I don't want to have any kind of bias. I don't want to smell these before I drink them because I don't want the smell to affect my subconscious bias. All right, now, look at this. This is definitely a unique color, and if I had to do this with my eyes open, I'll be able to tell which one is which. So, yeah, let's mix them around here. And hopefully, I won't know which one is which. And I won't be able to, I found out that my video recorder stopped after 5 minutes. And I went through probably 10 minutes of bullshitting about which of these beers I like better and all that stuff. And it wasn't captured on video. So I'll try to recap of what I went through in case you missed it. What I found out was this is Dragon Point. Dragon Point is definitely the strongest beer. It's a strong citrusy flavor going in. It has a really strong bitter finish. This is Playalinda, Pleasure Chest from Titusville. And I chose this as the best one because it's not quite as strong as that one. And it's more drinkable. You know, it's a good all-around beer. This is Hell and Blaze. It's from downtown Melbourne. It's the only place that you can get this beer as far as I know. It's very similar to the Playalinda. Virtually indistinguishable. And this is Hurricane Reef. It's a clear beer. Very clear compared to the others. But it's also the weakest. Compared to these three, it kind of tastes watery. And it kind of tastes flat in comparison, although I don't think it's flat. So, all three of these beers are available in bars and restaurants on the Space Coast, except for Hell and Blaze's Causeway IPA. I've only found this in the brewery. But I just still wanted to see how it compared to these more common beers. If you come to the Space Coast, let's say you come down here and you want to go to NASA, or you want to go on a cruise and you stay in Canaveral or Cocoa Beach for the night or whatever, you go out to a bar or restaurant, you're probably going to get one of these three. You're probably going to get Dragon Point, or Pleasure Chest, or Hurricane Reef. But you're not going to get Causeway. So which one of these, if you have a choice, which one should you get? Well, if you like a strong citrusy and a bitter finish, a citrusy upfront flavor and a bitter finish, then you get the Dragon Point. If you want a more drinkable IPA that doesn't have the intense flavors that Dragon Point has, then you want to get the Pleasure Chest if they have it. And if you're like weak beers, and by weak I mean in comparison to the rest of these, because this is probably a strong beer compared to your Budweisers and Millers and Coors and all that stuff. A lot more flavor, but still, in comparison to the rest of these, this is kind of watery. So, this one would be my last choice. If I was out and I had a choice between the rest of these three. Which would be my first choice? Well, my first choice would probably be Dragon Point. If I wanted a flavorful beer, or if I wanted a strong beer. Or it might be, Pleasure Chest. Of course, like I said, you're not going to find Causeway IPA. Okay, as I was saying, if you like a watery and weak beer, then go for the Hurricane Reef. See, these are all IPAs, and the way that I would describe the Hurricane Reef is the way that I would describe a light beer, say Bud Light to Budweiser. If you were to take a Budweiser and a Bud Light and drink them side by side, you're going to think that the Bud Light is much weaker and more watery tasting than the Budweiser. Well, that's the way it turned out with this one. The Hurricane Reef is like an IPA light. It tasted a little bit watery, weaker, didn't have as much hit to it, upfront hit or finish. Wasn't bitter. It was very smooth going in. So if you're looking for something that is not as strong as an IPA, but not as weak as a typical lager like Budweiser, Miller, Coors, then you might like the Hurricane Reef. If you want something strong out of these four, the strongest beer, beat Dragon. Okay, camera keeps cutting off. I can't do any more. So Dragon Point, the strongest. Pleasure Chest, probably the second best, or maybe the best. Depends. If you want strong, Dragon Point. If you want a little bit weaker, then get the Pleasure Chest. So that's that.